and welcome back to Press Any Button to Continue. My name's Keith and I'm joined by my co-host Nisha. Today we got a very special episode as we're answering your burning questions. All your desires you've ever wanted to know from us. All our secrets growing up. You could ask us anything, and today we are going to find out what you've been asking in the Discord. It comes as a little bit of a little Easter egg boner episode is what I would call it.
A
boner episode, yeah. A little erection selection to keep you teetering away.
I was actually thinking of, you know the way when you do an extra stream, you call it a boner stream, like a bonus stream, I had a name. I should have written it down. I had like what I thought was a funny, clever name for like a bonus podcast episode, and it was something using the word boner, but I can't remember what it is. I can't believe we said boner so many times in the first minute.
You might as well add one more boner. I can't wait to see the transcript now that Spotify does, where it translates everything, and it just says boner.
Oh, brilliant! So this is actually our third episode of season 5, and we have only yesterday released the first episode. Yeah. So we're really ahead of schedule.
This is like our third episode in a week, essentially.
Yeah, it is actually, yeah. Because we've totally changed it up. Say, for instance, if this is, for some reason, your first episode that you're joining, press any button to continue. Typically for our previous 2 years of releasing and our previous 4 seasons of episodes, we've released an episode every 2 weeks, but for season 5, we've put the foot down and we're doing an episode a week. And after every episode, we also do what's called a PSP lock-in, which is a bonus podcast over on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/press any button to continue.
Subscribe.
In that we just kind of unwind. We might talk about how we felt about the episode. Like, all the episode content is obviously in the main one, but we just talk about what we felt about the episode and maybe what we're playing at the time, and just a little bit of an after hours chat. And,
yeah, it's like a nice lock-in in Ireland, you'd say. You know, when the bars close, but there's a couple of people still left remaining, and you get into talking shite for a while.
Yeah, talking shite for a while. I don't know who doesn't love talking shite, man. It's great crack.
I do it for a living, so.
But can I ask you? So we have, like we were saying, this week is our launch of the new season. How are you feeling now that it's out there? Obviously, this is episode 3. But our first episode only dropped kind of yesterday.
Yeah, I'm very excited on like the feedback that people are enjoying the 2 parts, because it gives people that flexibility of like having it in more chunkable bits, but the 2 parts are at the same time, so you can enjoy it all at once. So the feedback for that was really, really cool to get. I'm very just like, it's such an experiment. Do you know what I mean? Like everything when you're doing a podcast is such an experiment, but it's just so curious to see, you know, when you shift something like that, how it goes. But so far so good. Like, I think it's I think it would be so interesting just to have all that like data back of, you know, what people enjoyed, what people didn't. And I think it's always creatively important to always be trying and pushing and, you know, putting yourself in, you know, different scenarios, because you come up with different things, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the while still sticking to the core of what we love, which is gaming and nostalgic stories and whatever that may be, which I think it's cool, yeah. And as you said, we have had some great feedback so far of releasing the one episode split into 2s, because it really suits people for, say, commuting, or people who are just prefer a shorter podcast, you know. So I think people are getting the best of both worlds. So yeah, it's been very cool. And also I love the new artwork that you did.
Thank you.
So you created this really, really cool, like a CD. Like, I can envision myself going into Golden Discs or HMV or whatever, your Empire Records, and buying a CD. Actually, you know, man, I was looking back at old pictures on Instagram last night for some reason, and I had posted a picture. Have you seen the movie Empire Records?
No.
Oh, have you not? No. Oh, right. I'd highly recommend it, man. It's a really cool. It's a story, right, about a record shop, and they're struggling to stay open because there's someone else is trying to open, like a big franchise is trying to open them, is trying to buy them. Okay. One of the staff decides, and this isn't a spoiler because it happens at the very start of the movie, right? So one of the staff members, Lucas, decides that he's going to take all of the money that they had been saving to try and keep the shop open and drive to a casino and try and bet it all on black or red, because he's always really lucky and he always wins. And again, this isn't a spoiler because it happens within like the first couple of minutes, but he obviously loses all the money. And it's just about the antics of, I think it's like literally like the all across the one day, but there's like Renee Zellweger is in it, and what's your one's name from the Lord of the Rings? Steven Tyler's daughter. What's her name?
Liv Tyler.
She's in it, and there's some cool actors, and there's a really cheesy guy. Sorry, I know I'm getting really into Empire Records.
I'm listening.
It's
I'm
such
happy
a good. It's such a good nostalgic movie, and I'd be interested to see if any of our listeners have seen it. But there's a real guy who plays like a real cheesy pop star called Rex Manning, and he has this like real cheesy song, and he's like of him like on a beach with like the wind blowing his shirt open, and he comes and it's just the whole thing. But the reason why I had it on my Instagram is there's a scene where they walk out the shop, and in the window for sale is a Super Nintendo and a copy of Mario Paint.
Oh wow, which is like not the most common thing to really come across.
Yeah. So you can see it for sale, and it's something that I've copped if I watching old movies and I spot like a video game or something. I for some reason I'll always pause it and take a picture because I find it interesting when. Because it was just they were part of the trend back then, but especially when you see them in stores, I just think it's really interesting. So yeah, sorry, I totally
it's just like you're seeing the retro video games in their natural habitat of like when they were exciting and new. You know what I mean? And like it gives it that sense of that. I know the second you were talking about like that Rockstar guy, it just reminded me of Russell Brand from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Do you know when he was like, inside of you, inside of you.
The similar kind of character is your man Rex Manning, so it's very funny. But our Q&A episode,
community episode, Jesus, I don't know. I mean, look, I think we're having a nice little vibe here, you know.
Yeah. So this is definitely one for the community, and so we posed a few questions. So on our Discord, which you can find a link to our Discord, will be in the show notes. There we have an Ask Us Anything segment where you can ask us anything, be it gaming related, not gaming related, any kind of question you want. If you even ever want us to be your agony aunts, you can ask us.
Yeah, you can like literally ask us anything. Obviously, we can always refuse the right to answer, but at the same time, I would say as well, this is like an opportunity for us to promote the fact that we have this. Do you know what I mean? So that we have this Ask Us Anything section. Because I think the more people write in, because we get a huge amount for the episode questions, and this is something we've only just added. So to just to kind of make people aware of it, that it's it could be really fun, philosophical, intriguing questions. It can be about anything. So whatever you can think of.
Will I live on the podcast pose a question and say we're recording right now? If you and if any bonus questions come in,
do you want me? I have it here if you want me to do it.
You fire away.
Chat away there for 1 second.
Just say we're recording a Q&A. So we've a couple of questions, right? While you're writing, I'm going to kick off with the very first question that we actually.
Hang on, I won't be able to listen. Talk ramble nonsense for a second. Anything you want, Nisha, anything that comes into your mind, go for it. Improv. Go.
Right. Well, what I'll say is thanks to everyone who has listened to the first episode of Press Any Button to Continue Season 5, which is episode 41, which at the date of recording went online yesterday, and we had a great response to it.
You can stop rambling, you're fine.
It's really, really nice to see. I was just thanking everyone who's listened to the first episode so far.
Look, they're fucking doing great.
We had such a nice response. But I'm going to tell you our first question, our Ask Us Anything question, the first question we got was from Dinner Dog. And Dinner Dog asked, why are you such legends?
Ooh, excellent question. Really, really tough one to answer this, and really putting us to the test, but I don't know. Why don't I answer why I think you're such a legend, and you can answer why you think I'm such a legend?
Go on, we'll just suck each other's dicks here for a while.
That's all I got, man.
All right.
No. I got loads. Nisha, you're such a legend because you come in and you bring your own vibe straight away to everything you do. I've said it a few times before, but you are a person who is very authentically who you are in the moment and the time, which always gives for such great podcasts, first of all, because you're feeling the emotions of the nostalgia, you're getting into it, and you're someone who's just very in touch with themselves, and is someone who likes to touch themselves. Do you know what I mean? I think there's like a beautiful balance that happens with it. So I don't know. I think as well,
thanks.
You're just in general a very considerate, kind human being who loves to rock and roll a bit of retro gaming. So you're right up my alley anyway.
Jesus, thanks very much, man. That was really really nice of you and unexpected. I thought we were just gonna like write this question as like a real just because we're bleeding deadly or something. But First of all, your new hair is fucking glorious. That's a reason why you're a legend. Keith got a slick ass haircut and he sent me a picture yesterday.
It's true. It was pretty good from Sean Ring, hairdressers in Cork. Highly recommend.
Oh, yeah.
Love to give
There's
a plug.
No plug for a Cork
he was amazing. Not to interrupt your legend speech, but like when someone's just really passionate about what they do and it shows. Like it was great.
Yeah. Do you ever watch videos of people getting their hair cut on YouTube?
No, but I know that's something you enjoy, is it?
Ah, yeah.
Like an ASMR type kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so I did holistic therapy years ago in college, so I have an interest in like different kinds of massage. But I love watching like mad, wacky, outrageous massages that people will get like over in the likes of Thailand or India and stuff like that. You know, like real funny, kind of using Reiki and energy and all that stuff. But there's also like people getting their hair cut at the side of the road with someone with like blunt scissors, and it's just mad. It's really fun to look at. The reason, Keith, why you're a legend, not just your hair, is kind of similar things to what you said about me, and I think it's the reason why me and you gel so well together. I feel like you're a very authentic person, and you don't change yourself. You are who you are, and it's really, what would you say? It's just a really genuine way of being, because some people will alter who they are to suit other people, and I don't feel like I have ever once had to do that around you. And I'm fairly sure you haven't had to do that around me. Well, I hope not anyway, and I think that's a nice thing. That just shows that. And all your clothes.
Again, a normal Saturday night.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting for our question to go like that, but sure, look, man,
this is the joy. This is the joy
love,
of it.
A bit of brotherly love, man.
There's a lot good with it.
Yes, there is. But we did, so thanks, Dinner Dog. We did get one more from Instagram. Thanks, Keith. We did get one more from Instagram that I'll just read out before we jump over. Before we jump over to our Discord. And this question, I think you're going to like this one. This one is from Seamus Kavanagh on Instagram, and Seamus said, first of all, that he thinks that this would be a great idea for an episode, which I think it will as well. But what are our favourite special edition or collector's editions of games? So what are your favourite special editions and or collector's editions?
This is something that I have a bit more weight in, do I?
Yeah. Well, you have some serious collector's editions and special editions and big box editions and all that kind of stuff. I
like a big box.
Yeah. I don't have a huge experience with them because it's not something that I've gotten too into, although I do have one on the way, but I'll get into that after. I'll let you kind of take the lead with this one.
Cool. I mean, I think since I was very young, like there was just a collector in me, in the sense that, like, even when I got my toys, I'd keep the boxes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like very like keen on like displaying them, and sometimes I'd have a toy, like a Dragon Ball toy or something, and I'd put it back in the box when I wasn't using it and put it on my shelf, and when I was playing with it, I'd take it back out of the packaging. So, I was always very keen on that, and I think I don't know what that is. I'd love to know what like the psychology behind wanting to keep those things in a certain way. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't quite know if it's an orderly thing. It just hit my serotonin, I suppose. And the thing with special editions, man, and I'm not kidding you, I prefer the box than what's in the contents. Like, I prefer the fucking box they come in than what's actually in the box completely. Like, so much so. Right. I think like the most excited I think I was ever for anything ever was not that long ago. It was when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, and I have it here next to me. I have the collector's edition, which is like a big box that comes with an Ellie statue, comes with her bracelet, it comes with an art book, it comes with a steel book, comes with lots of digital items. There was just and I just remember waiting for it all day, and that was like the last time being so old, being so excited for something. That's definitely one of the favorites. I have all the Gears of War collector's edition for the original trilogy, and Gears of War is a very exciting time because it's coming back in a big way. Which is people have gone crazy for it, like, as in, like, it's
cool.
It's huge gaming news after that amazing Xbox show.
It's great for the Gears of War fandom. I love to see it, because hasn't it been a while since Gears have had anything like that?
Like 2019 for Gears 5, and this is a separate team making almost like a parallel Gears universe where they're going back to the beginning, which is awesome. So we'll still have Gears of War 6 as well, which is cool.
Deadly.
The Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom collector's edition. I recently came back from Japan with the Cowboy Bebop PS2 special edition, which is unopened, which is just
cool.
insane to me. Like in terms of consoles, then like my Pokemon Stadium N64 is something that I absolutely adore. Crystal Xbox, if you could count that, but maybe not so much. So I'm just looking around my room here now, but there's like a lot of, like I have an Xbox Elite controller that's a Halo one. That's kind of like a special edition thing. I
think you might have showed me that, yeah.
Yeah, and like
the green one.
Yeah, and I really, really like that. And you get a special charm for the weapons in the game. So like you're like one of the few people who has that digital item as well, which is
cool. Yeah. Nice.
They're the ones that like pop into my mind straight off the bat. I'm sure there's definitely more. I feel like during my 360 era, I was kind of getting a lot. I have a special edition San Andreas that I got from Japan as well, which being
nice.
GTA head was really, really cool. But yeah, there's something that pop into my mind. What about yourself? Do you got anything kind of in that range?
I'm trying to think of what actual special editions do I have, because I don't know that I have that many game-wise. I have some special edition like boxed consoles, if that would be included in the kind of question. I think
even if you had like, your favorite just boxes in general, do you know what I mean? Because they're probably special editions by the fact they're so old and rare to exist anyway.
True, yeah. So I have the Super Mario All-Stars Super Nintendo console boxed big yellow one, and I absolutely adore that, man. I really, really like it. I just think it's really cool. I love the bright yellow colour on it, and how the contrast to because I have a boxed version of Mario All-Stars on the SNES as well. When you see them side by side, it's just like it's like the big brother and little brother, you know what I mean?
I do.
It's really, really cool. But for game wise, do you know what I really like? And I don't know if this is just with the game, but the Resident Evil Chainsaw controller, which is obviously must come with a special edition of the game, because you get that one that you have in the box in the glass case. The Chainsaw controller. I just think it's a really unique thing to have.
And it's actually separate cool, from the game. Would you believe it didn't come with the game?
Oh, was it? Yeah.
No. So it was
are you serious? So it was just a totally separate entity. It was just a controller in itself.
Yeah.
But is that considered a special edition?
It's
totally
worth mentioning. We were actually in Gamerfest, and you were looking at that yellow Game Boy, original Game Boy that was practically new with the case and everything. You wanted like 400 or 500 quid for it, and we're like, never gonna happen.
That was really cool. So it was a Game Boy. Original Game Boy box, but it was long, like about the width of like a standard laptop, and it came with a Game Boy, a yellow Game Boy with a black carry case, which you actually gave me one of those black carry cases.
Mistake, betrayal.
Cases.
Turns out they're worth money.
And then 2 games, and it was very pricey, and I couldn't.
It was like new, wasn't it? Like it still had plastic on it.
It was incredible. It was in pristine condition, man. Yeah, it was so nice. But I think if for special editions, not just games, I think the Super Mario All-Stars Special Edition Super Nintendo has to be one of my favorites. One that I'd love to get. There is a Star Wing or Star Fox Special Edition SNES console box.
Oh, on the SNES
that I've seen before. Yeah, for the Super Nintendo, that I'd love. And then obviously the Pokemon N64, the one that you have.
You can't have it.
Oh! I'll just rob it. It's grand. Do you know what I've seen? One that I will never own, right? But one of what I think is the coolest. And it's only the box. It's funny enough, you're talking about boxes. It's only the box, right? There is actually an Ocarina of Time N64, and it's like I think it's just the sleeve, and it has Link with the bow on the front of it, and it's super rare, like super. Why is that
so rare? Like what is it? Like what is the print?
I think it was only released in certain countries.
I
think it was only released in certain countries is the reason why. I don't think it was a global thing. And it's so fucking rare, man. That's another really cool one. I think when I think of special editions, I'm going to more consoles.
It still technically is like a special version of something, though. You know what I mean? So I think that's fair.
True.
I will one honorable mention actually. I got a Ghost of Tsushima special edition, and just in terms of the because normally when you get special edition in games, like it's a bit like fucking, you might as well have Kinder Egg little things inside it. You know what I mean? They can be quite cheap and shit sometimes. You know what I mean? Considering the money you pay, depending. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's great. Ghost of Tsushima was fucking pure quality. Like I've never opened up something with so much quality. Like the porcelain mask for the samurai thing. Have I showed it to you before?
Yeah. I've seen seen
that's
that yet.
a weighty bad boy, like, and comes with a lot of different cloth stuff. That was one that was actually sold to me because it was when GameStop was open. They had it open on the desk. And I was like, fucking hell, that's actually amazing. So I got it. I also got Xenoverse, where I got that Super Saiyan Goku from Frieza in the corner.
Oh, nice,
so that came as a special edition with it. Have I shown you that?
I don't know if you have.
He's pretty detailed.
Oh, God. That is so cool. For the listeners, it's Goku going Super Saiyan
It's for the first time against Frieza, so this would be the first time he transformed.
Yeah. You can just tell
so
because
the clothes
Goku
in
Super
terms
Saiyan.
of its rippages, what it's going with, you know.
Very good. That is very, very slick, man. I love that statue. I'd love to get some when I eventually get my own game room, get a statue where you Keith's just messing. The camera follows Keith. Yeah. Actually, one that did just come to mind. Actually, one of the very few special edition games that I ever got was Assassin's Creed 3 on the PlayStation 3, where you play as is it Edward Conway?
Yeah,
you know,
I think
it's like
right.
the Native American. I remember because it came like this little satchel and like a cool coin and a cool booklet, and it's actually, I think that's one of the only collector's editions games that I can actually remember getting excited about and playing, and that's actually one of my, if not my favourite Assassin's Creed game.
I realise this probably should have been a whole episode in of itself.
That's literally what Seamus said. That's literally what Seamus said. It was like, this could be a future episode. I think if we actually sit down and put a list, this could be a good top 10 episode.
I think maybe top 10 would make sense with it. Maybe we should stop talking because I'm really feeling like this is great content.
Yeah, it is. So thanks, Seamus, for sending in the question. But they were just because I literally only posted that like an hour or two ago, so there wasn't a lot of time on Instagram. But we have a few here on Discord, which is really nice, and we've got a few questions coming in. And since you just typed, there was a couple that came in afterwards. So do you want to kick it off with the first Discord ask us anything question?
Perfect. So we got from Gar. If you could combine two consoles together and have all the benefits of both, but also the downfalls of both, which two would you pick and why?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. Do you know what? I'm just going to say the first two that came to my mind, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to have to try and rationalize as to why, because I don't know why. But these were the first two that came to my mind. And the Nintendo NES and the PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Right? Right? And I think what my brain is telling me is wireless controllers, even though apparently I'm fairly sure you can get wireless NES controllers. But just imagine having like Super Mario Bros. That's side-scrolling. 1, 2, and 3 in like PlayStation 5, like you know, that Unreal Engine type thing, so like
it upgrades it on the fly kind of thing.
No, well, just that you'd have like, if it was like Super Mario Bros, right? The side-scrolling game was made in the latest, greatest graphics for like a PS5, that kind of thing, or The Legend of Zelda. Everyone would say the same. Like The Legend of Zelda, it's a little top-down game where you go from screen to screen to screen, like a grid, top-down grid game, like Pokemon Blue or Red, but it was in PlayStation 5 graphics, kind of like what they did with Link's Awakening on the Switch.
So you're kind of asking for magic here, right? Like obviously when you're fusing two consoles, there's a bit of magic involved, okay? But the benefits of both, okay? So you want the games of the NES with the graphics of the PS5.
Yeah. And then the downfall, I don't think there is, to be honest. I don't have any downfalls. I think it's a win-win situation for me. So
fair.
What about you?
Fair. I was thinking like very practically real, as if like I could literally open two consoles up and like mash them together. And I was thinking I would probably go to PlayStation 3 backwards compatible model with the Series X. Because if I put the two of them together, I would have 7 generations of games I could play on one system. Getting the most backwards compatible systems I could get out of the two of them. So that's the first thing that kind of came into my mind. I was like, how could I like fuse a console? I mean, obviously, you could do emulation and stuff, but just for legitness of it, I was like, what consoles have the best game preservation, for retro stuff? And I was like, those two. If I could fuse a third one onto it, I'd probably put like a Wii U or something to play Wii U games and Wii games in HD and GameCube games on top of it if it was jailbroken. And then you'd have like 10 generations of consoles on one device, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty slick. Quite a clever way of mixing two together to get all of the different generations. I think it really is. I think getting a backwards compatible PS3 is something that I really should do, because trying to take down like a PS. I've no space at the moment, so just to put one console down is fine. Putting 3 consoles down, and I really, really do want to play some PS1 games. Like I'm really have an itch to play the original Metal Gear Solid.
Well, your PS3 that you have will still play PS1 games.
What?
Yeah, every PS3 plays PS1 games. In HD.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Every PS
Does it, yeah?
Every PS3
Get the
plays
fuck
PS1.
out of here.
I swear to God. So the backwards compatible one's the only one that plays PS2 and PS1, but every PlayStation 3, no matter the model, will play PS1 games in HD.
Fuck?
With a virtual memory card as well, so you don't need memory cards or anything.
Oh, that is a really good shout. I can finally play Mary Kate and Ashley's Magical Mall.
You can, dude.
I bought that for my sister Keelan for her birthday.
Dude, I need
and we haven't actually played it yet.
I need that so bad for stream. You've no fucking idea.
Oh, that was a great question, Gar. Thanks very much. Next up, we had from Brian Regan 09. And Brian Regan said, okay, if you could take one video game character and drop him into another video game world as the lead in a brand new game, who would it be and why? For example, dropping Mario into the Green Hill Zone and seeing how he would figure it out, seeing as he wouldn't be super fast like Sonic.
This is an interesting one because like this is like cross. You know, this is like multi-universe type stuff. You know, where like the Spider-Mans meet each other or whatever. Even though I fucking
the multiverse, yeah.
But like, just as an example, yeah. What do you have anything off the top of your head? Something came into my mind straight away, but
right. Well, I'm still thinking it. So you fire away.
So I was thinking of like 2 similar games from the same developer in terms of fusing them, and I was thinking of Uncharted, and I was thinking of The Last of Us, and I was thinking how cool would it be to play as Nathan Drake in The Last of Us world? Do you know the way like the way he's such like
that's a really good show.
Survivor, Indiana Jones-esque character. It would be really cool to see like a more serious, gritty Nathan Drake, maybe older, traversing the world of something like in The Last of Us, you know, like fusing those universes together. Would be a cool one, I think.
Jesus, that's a really good one. For some reason, and again, this is just the first example that came to my head, I don't know why, is putting Sonic in like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I think the reason why it initially came to my head is imagine how fast you could get across Hyrule Field.
Without having to do like glitchy games done quick speedrun.
The side jump or the backflip or whatever that. Yeah. And just imagine them like running up Goron Mountain or whatever, and just the speed of them. Imagine how fast you could complete Ocarina of Time with Sonic just legging it around the place. I think it'd be really funny. And instead of cutting grass, you'll just run straight through the grass.
Yeah, it gets all the rupees.
There's so I think that'd be cool.
That I like that come to my mind. Like I think of similar genre games. Like I think of Bayonetta and Devil May Cry. Like if they were both in each other's worlds.
Right.
Like Dante and Bayonetta together would be like a really cool scenario. Do you know what I mean? And they totally fuck too. You know what I mean? Definitely ship them.
Or you could also put like Leon S. Kennedy in The Last of Us.
True. Like just kind of like flick some things around. Yeah.
Because it'd be pretty cool. Like that's his whole world is like the undead or zombies or the infected, that kind of thing. I think actually having Leon in The Last of Us would be very cool.
I have one.
Go on.
Master Chief, but in Dead Space.
Ooh, that's a really
so
good
like
show.
a real horror Master Chief experience. You know.
What about having Goku in Street Fighter?
That would be sick. I mean, it's people have been like dreaming and making up fake games about that for the longest time. Like, you know, like there's plenty of games with Dragon Ball characters and like Capcom versus SNK and mods and stuff. People have been like making that for ages, which is really cool. Actually, a really fun mod I played was Dragon Ball and Pokemon. So it was like you actually like you play as Goku as your first Pokemon, and in the wild you just find Dragon Ball characters. And you capture them, and then when they evolve, they turn Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. And they all have their own stats and there's their own story. I remember playing that on my phone years ago.
That's actually really clever. I actually have I bought I must get the name of it now and give them a little plug because it's the second game that I bought off them, but I'm after buying a ROM hack of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Or
on the Game Boy, is it?
On the Super Nintendo.
Oh,
so you know A Link to the Past, the Super Nintendo Legend of Zelda game?
Yes. Wait, I'm confused. You need to explain yourself slightly better. Is it the Super Nintendo game on the Game Boy, or is it a Game Boy game on the Super Nintendo?
No, it's a Super Nintendo game, right? It's a ROM hack of the original Super Nintendo game, which is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past,
Yeah.
the Super Nintendo one. But this one is called The Legend of Zelda: Parallel Worlds.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
And it's like a brand new, much harder game. New enemies, new weapons. I think it's a whole new map. So it's a
Have you
total
tried it?
ROM hack. No,
How have
I
you
literally saw
is
it.
the curiosity not kill you for something like that?
You know, I don't want. I wanted. I'm doing this the Harry way. So our good friend Harry, who just looks at a magazine and sees a picture of something and finds a little bit out about it, and is just like, I'm gonna.
But
pick
sure,
that
that's
game.
never going to be in
So-
a magazine ever. That thing's made by someone in the basement.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, I know.
never
That's
play it,
cool. And I
so-
have it. I have a custom.
You're never
I have
going
a
to find a
custom.
magazine where there's a ROM hack.
I know, but
You'll never find.
but
the
it looked
inspiration.
cool.
Play it
I-
now. Turn it on now.
But
Get
I
your Super
look-
Nintendo.
I
Put it on.
like ROM hacks, or I like the idea of ROM hacks, and I just wanted to play. I love Link's Awakening, or fucking hell, I love A Link to the Past, and this is just like a new version of it.
Mhm.
So I got it from, and I'm going to give them a plug on Instagram from Game Room Market at Game Room Market on Instagram, because they do all ROM hacks. They actually have a Dragon Ball Z one. I think I tagged you in it. It's called Super Butoden Collection.
Yeah.
So what they do is they take a lot of Japanese only releases and they turn them into English.
Mm-hmm.
So then they release them. So I bought one ages ago. It was very cool. And they have, like, at the moment they're doing the Pokemon Red, Blue, Green and Yellow for the N64.
Mm-hmm. That's very
So
cool.
just cool shit like that. So yeah, totally lost a run of myself there. But thanks, Brian. Sorry, I just got real excited. I'm in just one of those moods, like when I was talking about Empire Records. I just got real excited.
No, I like it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think that's a really cool question to ask different characters in different games. So yeah, thanks, Brian.
Zanfan says, I get to the sexy stuff in good time, lol. I can get to the sexy stuff in good time, okay? My question is, I know you both have significant others, and I'm wondering if either of them play games themselves, and if so, what are they into?
My answer is very simple, and it's no,
Yeah.
they don't. So
I
over to you,
mean,
Keith.
I'll try and give a bit of more answer of what she has played. I would say that, like, she doesn't really play games. Like, it's not really her cup of tea. But sometimes the moment does strike and she'll actually get into something. In the history of the nearly 10 years we've been going out, when we first started going out, she had a Pokemon ROM emulator on the iPad of Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green that she was just playing and enjoyed, and like had a good crack with it.
Cool.
Steamy streamers in the early days, it was inceptualized by the fact that it was me and Emma streaming. So the idea was I knew things about gaming and she doesn't have a clue. So it would be like, first impressions with like someone kind of helping her play the game and she goes through. So we were playing. We did a full playthrough now of Resident Evil 4, start to finish. She finished the whole thing, and she finished an entire playthrough of The Last of Us.
Deadly.
And that was 2 scary games where I'd say she aged 10 years in the process of that, and we realized the stress of it just wasn't worth it.
I remember seeing a clip.
Get up! I'm like, Squircle, get down! She's like, ah! You know what I mean?
I remember seeing a clip of you and Emma playing, I think it was a Resident Evil game, and she just kept getting freaked out, and you just kept being like, you're alright, you're alright, you're alright, you're alright, you're alright, you're alright. You were just trying to be supportive, but it was made for some very funny content.
Yeah, I must get her back on one day.
Yeah.
But also then, she was playing Super Mario Wonder recently.
Cool.
Played a fair bit of that
Did
by
she
herself.
like it?
Yeah, she did. She got about halfway through and kind of fell off a little bit. I don't know. Super Mario Wonder. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know what the fuck it is. I was like bored playing it. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like,
We should have like an unpopular opinions episode, but I'm the same. I kind of gave up. I was like, I just wasn't digging it, man. It just wasn't for me at the time. It might be one of those things you'll come back to. But,
I don't know.
At the time, I just was
I genuinely don't know, because it's like, if I'm having a linear Mario, I want just to be able to get from left to right and have it be hard. Like, I want to be able to parkouring, jumping, dodging. There's a lot. I don't like collecting. I like collecting in a 3D environment. I don't like collecting in a 2D environment. Like, I just want to be fast, speedy, go for it, Sonic style.
Yeah.
And I think that just like kind of pissed me off a bit. Like, where then something like Mario Maker was fucking amazing for me, because I was playing these classic looking Mario games with like really hard things that people made up. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was the same. It just didn't grab me. And I was surprised because it was such a well received game, and like I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something about it. Maybe it's just the fact that we are also very quite keen on retro, you know, and it's a modern. But
to be honest with you, like, it's more of a retro take spin, so you think you would like it. I hear Teapots said she loved it and played it with Josh, her partner, but I think that co-op experience might have really made it really good. You know what I mean? Right. I don't know, but also like I think it was critically well received. And I have something to fucking say, which I notice hugely in the game journalism world. Like, no one will say shit about Nintendo. Like, right. I feel like any game that comes out, I don't know if there's like a weird bias, and I feel like there's an Xbox tax where even if the game's fucking phenomenal, it's like, well, it's on Xbox and they bought a company, fuck them or something. There's a very weird, like almost console wars in the journalism. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I do definitely think, you know, I think it might be a case of, you know, this is total speculation, I have no clue, but maybe some journalists have kind of been burned by companies, whether it was for a job or for like cutting an advertising deal or something like that. I don't know. I really don't know what it is. Or else it's just their favourite, you know.
Yeah.
And like
but
you said, it's a bit of a console
wars.
Like,
you
thing.
know, you'd hope to be unbiased though, you know what I mean?
Well, that's, yeah. Surely that's the...
Just judge the game for what's in front of you and not what it's attached to, do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's like a side piece that just came into my head. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of our answer to that, I guess.
Yeah, well, thanks, Chris. Next up, we have Old Mate. And Richard said, question for each of you. 1v1 in a game for your life. What competitive game do you think you could win at? So in a 1v1, what are you best at?
Well,
what is the best game?
He writes underneath, which was hidden, he said, myself and Keith did many a 1v1 in Smash Bros to my detriment. There's that little spoiler thing.
I have another unlockable underneath the Discord thing, so hold on. Yeah, what did he say? Myself and Keith did many 1v1 Smash Bros to my detriment. Very good, very good. What do you think, Keith? What's your...
Like, okay, I love the idea in a game for your life, right? So this isn't like what's your favorite. It's like what do you think, like, this is life or death. How are you going to survive? I was good at Smash in the day, like when I used to play it regularly, but like I get my ass kicked now. I feel like weirdly enough, fighting games, I actually, even though I don't play a lot of them, I weirdly take to them. It's very strange.
All right, yeah.
But if I was to really, oh my god, like, see, I'm shit at everything now. Do you know what I mean? But like, I would say the best I ever was at a game when I used to play it and all the time was probably Gears of War. Like, if I was, I think actually, do you know what? Gears of War 5 I was actually excellent at during different periods of time. I would say, well, excellent. The best thing I was at. Excellent for me anyway. I would say if it's in a fight for my life, I'd probably go with Gears of War because I think I have the brain for it. So like, if I had an opportunity to train up, you know, I feel like I have the brain for it in terms of like maps and how to work stuff. Fuck, but I don't know. I feel like
that's a good answer. I think that's a good answer.
But I just can't think. Maybe Halo 2 SWAT or something. I don't know.
Oh, right, yeah.
What about you?
I think the only game that's coming to me is I'm not a competitive person, right? I'm not mad into competitions and stuff like that. But I did play the game I've played most against somebody would have been Super Mario Kart.
Sure.
And the one that I'd have confidence in would be something in the Mario Kart universe. So I think that'd be the one that I'd have to put a gamble on and just be like, right, this is it. I'm gonna put the pedal to the metal and
you beat me
see
in
if I
Gamerfest, so I'm dead.
But I always come fucking last when I was playing in your community day on Steamy Stream.
Yeah, that's Mario Kart 8, different ball game altogether, isn't it?
But still, I'm gonna go with Super Mario Kart. So I think that was a cool one. Thanks very much, Old Mate.
Got another one in from Gar. For the last few years, we've been seeing rumours of the video game crash coming. That it's all about to burst, etc. While things did slow down a little, I feel like things are steadily going up. I'm noticing here that Xbox 360 and PS2 are climbing a lot. Oh, we're talking about retro, sorry. I'm assuming. I think it will never happen again that people are giving away their PS5, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch at this stage. Everyone knows gaming is something special. So my question would be, what are your thoughts on this? Do you feel now more than ever emulation handhelds and modded PlayStation and Xbox are a good option? I'm trying to just understand the question. So for the last few years, seeing rumours of video game crash coming. Is that like, we're talking like in modern day? Because 2024 has been the worst year in video games for companies ever, I think. It's been it's been the most let-offs, the most firings, the most closures. Because the consumer market, we've changed that obviously. A lot of times people blame companies, and they're multi-rich companies who don't need to fire people and close jobs, but we dictate what's successful and not by what we buy. So, you know, I don't know, I think it's equal measure there. But I think when you're mentioning the 360 and PS2 are climbing a lot.
Basically, I think, well, part of it is, right, obviously there was a big video game crash after the Atari.
Mm-hmm.
So mid to early 80s, and the video game industry just went kaput.
Mm-hmm.
And then the NES saved that, and the Famicom saved that. But then, you know, like back in the day, everyone would just give away their consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, like, how many people have given a fucking Xbox 360, PS2? They were real flippant with them because it was always the next bit of technology is the greatest and the rest is shite. But now nostalgia has played a factor, and it's people hold on to things, and especially the likes of PS5. And then it's basically people are aware of the value of these consoles. And do you think we get to a point where I could be totally taking Gar's question up wrong, so I apologise, Gar. But will people ever be would they be disregarding their consoles and stuff like that? And like, what do you think about that? Like, will people ever just be giving away shit? Which I don't think they will, because again, I feel like it's become very clear that video games are one of the leading kind of industries of entertainment. It's not always what is the latest isn't always the greatest. Older games are still incredibly sought after, as you can see.
Well,
with
retro
prices
is like
creeping.
You know, more prevalent than ever. Like, definitely.
Yeah, sure. Look at the new NES champion or NES World Championships editions game that's coming out on the Switch. You know what I mean? How highly sought after that was, how collectible that is. And then when it comes to emulation and handhelds, are they a good option? I don't really emulate games, and I don't mod things myself, you know. I've only
done it for the first time recently for Pokemon Soul Silver for stream on the dad's porno laptop.
Right.
Because like I can't stream from a DS. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did in the past. I've tried it in the past, many years ago, and if I wanted to buy a retro game that was very expensive, I'd see if I can try and play it a little bit.
The way I think I kind of look at it, emulation is, I guess, like when you're into retro, you're not just into playing retro, you're into the lifestyle of retro. And what I mean by that is, like, you're into going out and finding them. You're into the experience of chatting with people and working around them. And like the same way, like if you're into, vinyls, like, there's retro music that you can listen to on Spotify. That would be like emulating it, right? Like, as an example. Yeah. But you want to go out and you want to get the vinyl and the packaging, and you want to have the experience with people, you know. I think there will always be a yearning for the experience. Because I think half of retro isn't playing retro, it's the experience of living that, like, life, you know. I
also think it's funny where I've totally contradicted myself. Guarantee you someone's listening to this going, but did you not 5 minutes ago say you just bought a ROM hack of The Legend of Zelda Link to the Past just by looking at it because you thought it was cool?
Technically not emulation,
but I'm playing
so
it on
safe.
An original hardware, which is a Super Nintendo.
That's just a pirate game is what that is. It's not a we're sailing the seas.
Fan made.
What's a pirate's favourite letter?
What is it?
I don't have a guess.
P?
There's two options you could have went with there. You could have went R.
Oh.
Or you could have went the C.
Oh, the C. I like the C, man. That's a good one. Right, well, thanks, Gar. We probably totally didn't answer your question in any way, but thanks very much for writing in. Next up, we have Teapots, and Teapot said, "Why are you two so heckin' wonderful?" Thanks, Teapots. We kind of answered that for Dinner Dog at the start, didn't we? We did. But we're just fucking beautiful bastards. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we're gorgeous.
Yeah. Right, so then after Teapots, thanks Teapots, we had Ben from Laser Steak, and Ben said, "Did either of you guys ever want to pursue a job in the video game industry, like development or anything like that?"
I feel like I don't. Maybe at a point in time when I was growing up, I did. I think I'm doing as much as I can now to pursue a job around video games that I enjoy doing, which is kind of, I like them so much, I want to, talk about them in a podcast sense and play them and show them off and build community in a streaming sense. So I think that's probably like me pursuing that. Do you know what I mean? That's me pursuing jobs in video games. Maybe not the industry, but video games. I think in terms of like development or making games, oddly enough, no. I've never wanted to. Yeah. Maybe when I was a kid, but I've never wanted to make a game. I love being so passionate talking about them. But I feel like I'm more of a sports commentator than a soccer player. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
in that kind of sense.
No, that's fair. Yeah. I always remember hearing rumours that people were video game testers and that was their job, was to just play video games. And that to me always seemed like a really cool thing. I remember hearing a few years ago that people did that for like Netflix. So there was... I heard that
they were like watchers.
People
is it?
would be paid to watch Netflix, and if anything like glitched out, you just report on it. I was like, that is the fucking dream job.
Yeah.
But when it comes to video games, I think like you, I didn't really, but that's because I had no clue as to how video games are made. Like coding, like that was, it didn't exist in my brain. I had zero understanding of what that was, you know what I mean? They just existed to me. I didn't have the awareness in the 90s of what it took to make a video game, so I could never project a dream onto something that I had no awareness of. Again, the thing I did always I remember hearing and thinking was cool was being a video game tester. But that was me simply thinking that someone would send you a game, you play
through the whole thing start to finish,
a load of money,
rather than playing like one segment of 1 second over and over and over.
Yeah. And then like now I think what I would like you I think I'd love to do like some sort of commentary like this podcast, you know, if this podcast was picked up and it was like a big commentary review thing, a big global thing, I think that'd be brilliant, because we could just talk about our passions and what we know and what we're comfortable talking about. And we can give fair and honest reviews to every console. So any video game developer, company that wants us to review your game
without bias, can't promise we'll like it, but without bias.
Contact us, business inquiries to pressanybuttonpod@gmail.com.
It would be
Thanks, Ben.
It would be cool if like like every 5 episodes a company was like, we want you to talk about this game, you know, like you both play it, we both come back, because there's something fun about the idea of like us both playing something individually, not talking about it to each other, and then coming together and hearing our first impressions and ideas.
Yeah, because like we're
that's a great idea for a podcast, full stop, for anything. Imagine if we actually refused, like we did complete like COVID rules, like we both play and finish a game and we will not talk about it. We'll talk about other things, but we will not talk about that game at all. In complete silence. We give ourselves a month to finish it. Then we come together and we talk about it for the very first time and be like, one of us might hate it, one of us might love it, or we both love it, or we both like, you're getting raw, honest feelings straight away.
Can you think of any games? It would have to be one that neither of us have played.
Yeah, though. I think that's doable. Like, have you played Chrono Trigger?
I have. Yeah,
you have. It'll also be like too long. I think it needs to be something that's like less than maybe 10 hours. Well, maybe not. Just to start off, it might be handy.
I think we should look into this and see if there's a game that the two of us can play and have a discussion on it. Because I think that's a really good idea. For an episode.
Fun, wouldn't it? We've always talked, but we've talked about it together, that there's games where like, oh, we should play that. You know, like throughout the episodes, we've definitely come up with stuff. Maybe we should both play, like, have you played Pokemon? Like, maybe we should play like Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire or something like that. And you play Ruby and I play Sapphire. And then we can also like trade or something to finish it off or some shit.
That's a fucking great idea. That is. Have you played the Pokemon trading card game?
The cards?
On the Game Boy.
I'm playing it. And I also think that's like an excellent teacher, but I don't think there'd be a lot to like
There's
discuss
not a lot of
on
meat
it.
in the bone.
What'd you say? Yeah.
What Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire?
Yeah, I've only played like an hour or two of that. So
what are they on?
A Game Boy Advance.
I have a Game Boy Advance.
Also, it'll be a really good opportunity for you to finally play a Game Boy Advance.
Is that Gen 3?
Gen 3, yeah.
Cool, yeah, 100% I'm down for that, man, because I've played Crystal, so I've played Gen 2.
Yeah, so this will be an opportunity for you to get to the next game as well.
Jesus, yeah, right, done, sold. That's why we'll do that.
We'll definitely do the idea. Maybe the game we'll see, you know, but yeah, that could be a good one. Feel like something we could definitely play like at night when, you know, you're just fucking chilling out doing nothing, you know?
Absolutely, man. That's a really good shout.
And you know what would be really cool too? We can say like what we nicknamed our Pokemon and what Pokemon we caught, and you'll be able to compare notes and stuff.
I don't nickname them, man.
I know you don't.
Actually,
I know you don't. You have the
this.
Ash Ketchum Dream, but
yeah. Everyone's called Ash. Even I did try to start the trading card game, and when I named my character, I named them Ash because anything Pokemon related is just Ash.
Do you know what I call my
Pidgeot?
Pidgeot?
That was. Come on.
Heisenberg.
That's a fucking great
Yeah, I'm very proud of it.
I am the one who flies.
You stupid bitch.
Thanks again, Ben, from Laser Steak. Next up, we had Jonathan, and Jonathan said, "What kind of questions?"
Come on now. It's called Ask Us Anything.
Anything. And then I'll let you take the last question we have there.
Lift says, good old friend of mine, says, "Can I kiss either of you?" I mean,
where
does yourself, you can kiss me.
Does Lift wrestle?
I mean, yeah, I suppose the position, the timing of it. Are we talking like full on French here? Are we just talking like a peck on the cheek? Are we talking like a smoocherunio? I mean, we've met a couple of times before, so we've been through the flirting and foreplay stage. Nisha doesn't know you, so it might be he might be raw dogging it a bit more. But we'll you know what you can do? You can kiss me, right? And then when your kiss is still fresh on my lips, I'll kiss Nisha.
Oh my god. Thanks, Lift.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's. I think that's a nice way to end the episode.
I think so.
Oh, brilliant!
Bro
brilliant.
love.
I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That was a good idea. I think doing more of these in the future is a good idea because, like, the questions totally led to totally different
totally
things,
yeah.
and because there wasn't a like we weren't planning it, it was all honest kind of off the cuff thoughts.
And hopefully this will encourage you to ask more. And the reason we did this episode now is because like normally we record every 2 weeks, but I'm away next week, so this is like, as I said, like our third podcast we've recorded in a short amount of time, and naturally we get questions that we ask ye to give us your stories. And so since we're a little bit tight and squished to make it, because we want to make sure we keep one a week and we want still good content, and we said this was the perfect excuse to use the start of this now. So this will probably be something we throw out every time we're a little bit, squashed in a direction for timing, because there's a bit of prep that goes into some of the episodes. Do you know what I mean? And this was a nice fun one to do off the cuff.
Yeah. Like we kind of joke about, or we joke around about it, but we do spend an awful lot of work doing it. And an awful lot of hours prepping, editing and everything into the podcast. So yeah, but I think this is a nice way to just do a fun one that you realise you can just go into it totally chilled, totally unprepared, and just see what happens, and it's going to be fun, because I really enjoyed that, man. That was a good conversation.
I did too.
Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to everyone who has listened to the first episode. And by the time you get to this one, probably the second episode of season 5, and we are gonna unwind now. So that's the episode done. There's no more questions. You've gotten all the beautiful content.
Now for the good part.
Now we're gonna pop open a bottle of wine.
Oh, head on over to the Patreon, the after hours, the PSP. Get a little bit of DLC action.
Bonus features. That's what it was, Keith. Bonus. Right. This is my idea. Right. I probably should have said this at the start of the podcast. Right. Because when you buy a movie on DVD, right, you get the movie, you get the full thing. We're not keeping anything with the episodes away from every listener. But if you want a few bonus features, that's where you get onto the
So boner Patreon. Features is what you're saying, is it?
That's where it was. That's where I was trying to get at the start of the episode.
Boner features.
Remember I was saying boner? It was bonus features. It was something was in my head. It's the bonus features. So we're going to head on over to the bonus area and bone. See you later.
Bye. Bye.